And we are back again. This is L.A. Kendrick from the House of Havoc bringing you part 3 of This Went Viral. Let's get right into it. Now, last we checked, TB had recorded some strange activity on the house that they normally hang out at the night before. So now they're at the bus stop. And TC shows them the video footage. And Don Don is like, wow, so you really have something here. So the other kids that usually hang around them, they gather around. And then some kids that they don't fool with try to gather around, and the rest of those kids push those kids out of the way and say, no, this is for us. So TB and Don Don are discussing things, and one of the kids noticed that whatever this is on the roof staring at him has something pinned down, and then it releases his hand and it stands on it. Now they're not real sure what it is or what it could be, but TB starts to put two and two together and says, where's the other friend of theirs? And the friend that was supposed to be with that particular friend speaks up and says, well, he never came back out. And I waited for a long time, and it started getting dark, and my parents don't play that getting dark thing. So I left because I heard some scuffling, and he appeared to come back out. So I was assuming that he came out. And TB said, well, you didn't check to make sure that he left, that was him? And he says, well, I'm not going to get my butt torn apart by my parents because he's taking his sweet time about it. And then Don Don says, well, we never leave a man behind. And they all of a sudden they notice that when they zoom in closer on the image of the thing that has it, whatever this object or this person pinned down, they notice that there are arms. And they notice that the shirt was the same color shirt that the friend was left behind had on. So they all gasp. And the bus pulls up. They get on. And then they get off. They go to the school and they're all kind of quiet and somber. And they're looking and trying to figure something out. So TB says, okay, when we get to the school, let's not go to school. Let's walk back home. And we're going to go back to that house and see if we can't find our friend. Does everybody agree? And everybody agrees. And then Don Don, except for the one kid that didn't want to wait for the friend. And then Don Don says, so I guess you chickening out. Do you agree or you don't agree? And reluctantly, the young guy says, yes, I'm coming with you guys. So they get to the school. Everybody's let off the bus. The bus pulls off. TB, Don Don, and 4 other kids sneak out. They sneak off the school grounds. And they come back to their home in their neighborhood, of course. And they go to the house because all their parents are at work. And they know this is the only time they're going to be able to get this done. So TB actually streams. He sends the recording of the video of the thing standing on the house. He sends it to his streaming site, for documentation and in case anything happens. So they all make the pack and they say, well, let's go on in. Let's go ahead and let's get this over with. And then they go in and then they notice that the place has a real ominous feel to it. So Don Don says, you know that door that was open that we closed back? Let's start there. And they do. So they go to the door and they open the door. They unlock it and they open the door and they look down, and they try to use their cell phone lights on their phones, but then TB says, well, let's just preserve some battery life and let's just bring those candles down. So they bring the candles down and they're walking in. But they're walking down the stairs in a long corridor, and they can kind of smell a oily smell. And it leads to a tunnel that's not really high, but not really too low. But they can crawl through it and get to where they need to get to. And on the walls, it's covered with this dark tar-looking substance. So they're real careful not to get too much or any of it on their clothing and their person. So they're all crawling through, except for two that stayed back to stand guard, just in case something happened and they can run tail and get help. And they crawl through. The others crawl through, and they look around. Once they get to the edge, to the end of the tunnel, and they're looking around. And they can see burlap sacks, which seem to be have bodies wrapped inside of them and tied up, and they're hanging. Some are hanging by the neck, and then some are hanging by the legs up. But none of them seem to be moving. And then they come to the friend of theirs, because he's moaning inside of one of the bags. And TB and Don Don go to it and they cut it open. And it's their friend. And he's so glad to see them. And he said, there's this monster in here that looks like a man, or is trying to act like a man, but it's a monster, and it's really, really foul smelling. It smells like oil or kerosene or something. And TB looks around, and so does Don Don and the other two young men. They're looking around as well. And then they're shining their lights back and forth inside of it looks like a cave. At this point, it looks like a cave, but it goes back even further. And they can just see, stalagmites and stalactites, like it's going into a cave area. Almost like going through like if you were to go on a trip and you were going to look through, cave caverns, things like that. And lo and behold, as soon as they get to looking around after they're still trying to get the guy up and get him on his feet and give him some water, because he hasn't had water for a day. And he's just, he's all shook up. And TB tells him to go on through the corridor, and he tells one of the other of the four guys that are with him, he tells one of them to walk him out. So they do. And TB's looking around with his phone, and he's recording what he's seeing. And all of a sudden, his phone catches a glimpse of something. And so he zooms in with his camera, and he can see it. And he says, there it is. That's what I've been seeing. So Don Don looks as well, and he can see it. And they name it Oil Man. And they start backing up because he starts walking towards them, because they discovered his lair. And he doesn't want to tell. He doesn't want the information to get out, of course. So he's about to claim those three young men at this point, as they all start backing up. And Don Don said, I think this is a great time to get out of here. And TB tells him, you ain't gone yet. Just as they turn to start to run towards the opening, Oil Man gives chase. Growling, grunting, just kicking up a lot of dirt. Trench coat flowing in the air because he's running all out to catch him and stop him. And now it's on. They're in an all-out sprint for their lives. And I'm going to leave it right there. This is part 3 of This Went Viral. You guys, again, like, comment, share, retweet, subscribe, please. Let me know if I'm doing this the right way, I'm not doing this the right way again, or I'm not doing this the right way. Again, this is basically just a hobby of mine, just trying to make sure that you guys have some extra entertainment. And I already have published work out on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Ingram, Kindle, Nook. I have polished work there. Again, we're in the process of getting the other 2 new books out, from the Benefits of a Bully genre and the Destiny versus Chaos genre. All support is appreciated, and I really do appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to the work and listen to what I'm doing. Again, this is for you guys. And short, unedited horror stories, to give you a little spice. Feel free if you want to, well, go ahead, feel free and drop a couple of dollars into my Cash App, which is $outrage95. Thank you in advance. And this has been L.A. Kendrick. Remember, check the dark recesses of your home. Check under your beds. Check your closets. And if you happen to work at night, check your surroundings. Check underneath your car. Because you never know what's lurking in the dark to make you a story. And this has been L.A. Kendrick, bringing you the heavy.